Welcome to the Marketing Department podcast, where everything in the world is marketing.
Unfortunately.
Back in the day, when it was just me, I was the graphic designer, I was the ad guy, I was the SEO guy, I was a website designer. I think a lot of the successes we have today collectively came from that space.
We just have so much to share. We're absorbing so much information, absorbing so much of the culture, trends, insights every single day. We needed a space to just like formally talk about it and chop it up. Do you think AI tools are going to cut off the designer? Is it going to cut off copywriting? Is it going to cut off the strategist or account management? It's scary if it does.
I definitely think we're going that route. Welcome to the Marketing Department podcast, where everything in the world is marketing.
Unfortunately.
My name's Anish.
My name's Aziz, and on this show, you're going to hear from creators, founders, and that occasional CEO that thinks brand is a logo.
We'll be digging into the wildest personal stories and then dig into the details to see why they stuck.
This isn't a podcast about marketing. This is a podcast about how marketing runs the world, and we didn't even realize it.
So on that note, let's get started.
All right, this is our very first podcast. How you feeling, Anish?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good. Didn't think that I'd ever be on a podcast, but here we are.
Yeah,
You know?
Here we are, man. We've known each other for a long time. We've just been chopping it up. We're finally joined forces, working together.
That's it. Yeah.
I think we share with everybody our story. We can kick things off with there. Maybe you can go first.
So in our past life, I would say, DJ, I was a DJ, DJ Nishi, you're an MC. We met in Montreal. You know, shout out Andrew Lala.
Yeah, the Montreal days are crazy, and the Montreal stories are for a whole other episode. I'll tell you that.
For sure, yeah, those were some crazy parties that we were putting on,
Yeah.
right? But the DJ days were amazing. That's where we had met, and from there, you know, we just kind of built a friendship, you know, and kept it going for years to come, and it's been, I think, since then that I feel like we've wanted to work with one another and like, you know, start something or do something, build together, etc. But I feel like there was so many different moments in life that like kind of held us back, or, you know, you were in Dubai for a bit or wherever you were traveling. You did most of the traveling.
I was a nomad for a bit. Yeah.
You were definitely a nomad, yeah. But yeah, and then from there it just kind of like, you know, over the years, we kept in touch, but it was still, you know, you were doing your thing, I was doing my thing, but still like connected, you know, like we were still kind of keeping tabs, for lack of a better phrase, you know, but things worked out, you know. I think everything happens for a reason. The timing worked out, you know, almost a year ago now.
Yeah.
And you came on board to the prospect team, right? So super excited about that. But yeah, I mean, as far as my story goes, I started Prospect nearly 14 years ago now, and essentially, you know, it's evolved, you know, over different brands and logos and whatever.
Yeah. For the people that don't know what Prospect is, just give them like a one-liner, like what is Prospect?
Sure. So we're a full-service creative consultancy. We do everything from like digital execution, experiential, you know, like the works at this stage. We'll get into it some more, maybe in this podcast, maybe in another one, but you know, a lot of that experience came with you as well. You know, I brought on the digital side for sure, but I think you bring on more of the enterprise, the experiential space. You know, that's more you. So we can talk about it eventually, but yeah, that's kind of what Prospect is. And we're growing, and we have grown, you know, like just in the last 10 months alone, we went from a team of like 12, 13 to a team of 25. It's huge, right? So I'm excited, man. I think that this podcast is just kind of like the natural next step for us, you know, in creating content, meeting people, etc. So that's it, man.
Going back to our story, like we met as people working in the entertainment industry, and when you really look back at that was our first inkling and interaction. Yes, at a personal level, getting to know each other, but you were a DJ, I was an MC, part of another DJ team, but that's where we kind of just learned marketing on its own, right? Like creating spaces, working with brands, working with artists, creating flyers, learning design, promoting, working with these brands that wanted to work at our events. Like,
Yeah.
that's where it all kind of started back in like the university and college days. And
Yeah.
I always look back at that times because you can't forget that. Like, those were the peak moments where we really had to like put ourselves out there and build a personal brand for ourselves. So yeah, I think anytime, no matter where we are in life, I feel like we should always, because that's where we really paid our dues, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So I feel like no matter our trajectory, wherever we go, like we'll always have to like give ourselves a little kick in the butt and be like, remember those days where we had to really grind it out, stay up till like 4, 5, 6 a.m., coming home, being out partying and planning all these events and working with clients, etc. So it's been a journey.
It has been. Yeah. And you're so right. Like, I remember the first logo that I ever created was my DJ logo, you know, funny enough. I don't do too much of that, you know, creative side. You know, like in the weeds stuff, you know, the execution of it. We have a team for that now. But, you know, back in the day when it was just me, you know, at Prospect, it was definitely that, you know, like I was, you know, the graphic designer, I was the ad guy, I was the SEO guy, I was a website designer. Like it was a lot of that. And you're right, man. I think a lot of the successes we have today collectively came from that space, you know, just even then we were creating, right? We're just creating in a different capacity now and a different scale, obviously. So it's humbling to like kind of look back sometimes and be like, you know, that's where we came from, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So where are we right now, right? Like, we've got obviously the marketing department podcast, which we're kicking things off. First episode, we're here in this space, beautiful space, by the way.
Yeah.
Incredible growth over the last number of years with Prospect. Joined forces with you almost a year ago. And already there's just been so much growth. And we're at this point where we're kicking things off with the marketing department.
Yeah.
And I think we can maybe talk about like why we even started the marketing department, right? And I think it's just been like a natural progression of just how our minds work, our daily conversations, when we're venting to each other, when we're brainstorming, when we're ideating, when we're problem solving. Even as we're consulting with clients, we just have so much to share because we're absorbing so much information, absorbing so much of the culture, trends, insights every single day that we needed a space to just like formally talk about it and chop it up. And we did that naturally over phone calls or Zoom calls or whenever we're working together. But I think it's just a way for the marketing department has now become a way for people to come into our minds and understand, like, really just understand how our minds work and how we're going to progress the industry with Prospect, with the marketing department, et cetera. So, it's really nice to be here just to kick things off for the department.
Yeah, I think so too. And maybe, you know, for those wondering, why the marketing department, you know, like I think that was the name of this podcast was kind of on our minds a lot as we were kind of progressing towards this natural setting. But I think that, you know, when it came down to it, you know, we had so many different ideas. You know, we were just ideas bouncing off one another. We had ChatGPT going for us and like, you know, all of that. But then we landed on the marketing department for one reason, you know, and I think that reason is like, because oftentimes it's like we don't even realize how much like everything is actually marketing, you know. But then beyond that, it's also that a lot of you know, companies, organizations, et cetera, they hate their marketing departments, you know, like I think that's a big piece of it.
It's like public enemy number one.
Is
the marketing department.
You know? Like, oh fuck, the marketing department did this again or did that again, right? Like I feel like that's such a common place. So we're gonna play on that a little bit and just call it the marketing department.
That's literally what we wanted, right? It's just that when you hear marketing department, we want people to just be like, ugh. Like, I hate the marketing department. It's just like universally hated. It's the marketing department is loved by founders, but it's also hated by founders.
For sure.
That's exactly what we wanted in terms of a response because, like you said, marketing is everywhere, right?
Everywhere. Like everything we do.
Things by design or just naturally are an extension of marketing, advertising, communication. Like, why are things placed the way they are? Why are certain colors placed next to each other the way they are? We're always trying to communicate something, and it's all about telling stories, right? So that's really just what we wanted to capture. And through the marketing department, I think we can capture some really, really cool and unique personal stories of the people that we're going to be having on as guests, which I'm super excited about. There's going to be a lot of cool insights to share over the next little while, being able to pull back the curtains on a lot of these founders, creators, entrepreneurs. But yeah, like the marketing department, like you can't run from them. You can't escape them. Like they're here to stay.
Yeah.
So yeah, speaking of marketing, why do you think the marketing department or marketers are hated?
To some extent, I feel like a big part of it is just like the stigma behind marketing. You know, like when people think they're being advertised to, you know, or marketed to, it's just like, you know, they're trying to sell you something, or they're trying to put something in front of your eyes, or what have you. Like I think, you know, people don't necessarily like that, right? And it's a big reason why today UGC, or user generated content, is so big, right? Because like it's more natural, right? It's like it's almost purposely not produced. In fact, it is purposely not produced. It's meant to be like almost like someone just pulled out their phone and quickly took a video and hit submit, right? And I feel like that kind of can apply to all of marketing today. You know, like when people, I'll give you an example. Like on my end, I see a lot of advertisements on like, you know, Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever.
Right.
Anytime that I see an ad that's been like what I would call overproduced, it's like I automatically just like, it's not.
You know, they're either going to be the most expensive, or like try to upsell you on shit. Like you just want to go with the ones that are kind of like mid-tier or a little bit more rough around the edges, because it just seems more authentic.
Yes.
There might be a more personal type of servicing opportunity there.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about like when I see certain ads pop up, and I'm like, I'm not going to click the first one. I'm just going to click the third or fourth or fifth one.
Yeah. Yeah.
For a bunch of different reasons.
And that's happening everywhere, right? Like, I mean, it's happening in visual media for sure, like, you know, images, videos, etc. But it's also happening in like text-based mediums, you know, like if you're looking at blogs, you know, you're looking at Google Ads, for example, right? Like a lot of people don't know, but when you search something on Google, the first 3 or 4 results are generally sponsored or an advertisement, right? And you can almost tell the ones that are like extremely polished, like, you know, like that's what they're going for. They're usually number 1, 2, because they're paying the most for that spot. And then number 2 and 3 is like more human, you know, like they almost ask you a question in return. So let me give you an example of that. So let's say you're looking for like the best podcast mic, right? And then the ad will actually just ask you almost like, again, like a human would, are you looking for the best podcast mic, right? Question mark. And that's their headline.
I feel like Amazon does that really good.
Amazon does
see that stuff. Like if I'm searching for something in a certain category, then within minutes, if I'm back to scrolling on Instagram, then I'll see something related to that. It'll ask me a question, and it's like, whoa, like it's like, it's in my mind, right?
It's in your mind, exactly. And I think like a lot of the marketing that we do today is kind of around that. Like we're trying to humanize it. I think that's one thing too that, you know, we can eventually or talk about is just like AI and like how it's kind of changed the landscape for us completely as marketers, but also as consumers, right? Like I feel like some people don't even know that they're being spoken to by AI. Some people don't even know that they're like, you know, being targeted by AI. And
bro, and that's gonna get scary. Like it's gonna be incredible for like the industry. But there's gonna be a point where we're just not going to know. And I know that's the whole purpose of it. But when it comes to obviously things like data privacy, when it comes to even just escalating service inquiries from a customer service standpoint, like the way in which it's moving, the rate at which it's moving is insane.
It's incredible. Yeah, it really is. And I think like when you look at AI today, it's been a short period of time. If you really consider, you know, like how long has like ChatGPT been around? Like actually been around, you know, as like consumer facing, a couple years, you know, maybe 3. And I think like 3 years from now, like just look how far it came in those 3 years, right? Before you could just like ask it basic questions.
Yeah.
Today you can ask it to like do
Dude,
crazy stuff. You know?
like ChatGPT is like an extension of my life now. Like it's from the morning trying to figure out like how to write or craft a certain email that has to go to a crisis management situation, to figuring out a recipe at dinner, or like just planning the next trip, or some very simple thought starters. Like there's not a moment where ChatGPT is not a shortcut.
Yeah. We're always tapped in, but we also almost have to be, right? Like, because everyone else is, you know. So like for us to stay, you know, on the ball, on top of our game, whatever you want to call it, like we almost have to kind of like use GPT as like an extension of our brain now, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like it ever kind of plays the opposite effect though, like with your thinking? Like, do you think that it always kind of enables you to think better, or do you feel like it kind of maybe deters you from thinking at all?
That's a good question. I feel like I don't have that answer just yet. I feel like I'm in it right now. And what I mean by that is like I'm trying to figure out, does it put me in a box?
Right.
Right? Does it predefine how, like, what my guidelines are?
Yeah.
From a creative standpoint.
Yeah.
Right? Before GPT, it's like the world is your oyster.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And it still is, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel like some of the responses from a marketing standpoint GPT will give you, or any other engine, you kind of have to remind yourself, like, these are just thought starters. This is never going to be client facing. Yeah. Right? Yeah. It's just to help you make certain things efficient. Thought starters, ideation, concepting, etc. That's literally it. It's just for seeding the idea, but the creative, the human, social, cultural creativity and that viewpoint has to come from the heart, has to come from the brain. Yeah. And that's something GPT is obviously not going to do right now. Yeah. So I'll let you know in the next episode, or maybe in a couple episodes down, like where I land. But I think as of right now, naturally people will tend to gravitate towards using GPT responses as like the end all be all type of response to act against or put client facing. But that I don't think that's right. I just feel like GPT is more like an assistance. Yeah. It's more like an aid. It's more like if you have a writer's block, it can help you get over that hump. For sure. So I think that takes a constant reminder. So that's how I would kind of explain it.
Here's the thing, like we're visionaries, right? When it comes to our business, when it comes to our clients, you know, we want to always be producing the best. We want to always be kind of like pushing the bar, right? And AI can't do that right now. Yeah. Right? It's going to take whatever information we've given it and essentially use that to kind of craft something. Right. But like to your point, like it's just the beginning, right? Yeah. It's just like a starting point for you to then take and now like cook up into something that you want, right? Yeah. But it's not the end all be all for us. So like I think that's a big piece of it, is like a lot of people are like, even in like the writing world, for example, you know, they feed it some information, it spits out a blog or an article or an infographic or whatever, and it's just like they post. Right. And it's like, it's not authentic. People can tell, you know, the amount of times I go on LinkedIn and I see like the same type of post, you know, like it's like, here's 3 reasons why you're failing at X. And then it's like part 1, part 2, part 3. And then it's just like
structured format. You pick it up right away.
Yeah, you pick it up right away, and it's all AI written, right? Because like there's different tools. We've even looked at them, right? Like we've considered, you know, should we go this way or should we not? But then it's just like the answer is always no, and the reason is always because it's not human, right? Like it doesn't feel real.
So going back to the question about why do most people hate the marketing department? Yeah. And then when it comes to AI, do you feel like the founders, the CEOs, the brand people that, maybe not the brand people, but the founders, the CEOs who are, you know, they're kind of iffy about the marketing team. Do you feel like with AI that they think they don't need a full-fledged marketing team or like real humans, and that they can get it all done with AI.
Yeah, I think they do feel that.
Yeah.
It's a furthest thing from the truth.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I don't want to call it greed, but I think that, it plays a part, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you can cut your marketing department, your actual marketing department, and, save, let's say four people's salary on a monthly basis. Let's say an average of like 60K, right?
Right.
You're
Simple copywriting or like
Yeah.
simple design stuff that's kind of templated. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think, so I don't mean to cut you out, but what I was thinking was just like, sure, certain roles could get cut.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
There's smarter, more efficient ways to do things like
Yes.
operations, finance, et cetera.
Yeah.
Like, if your AI tool is aggregating all that data, all that information,
Yeah.
and from a business operations standpoint for your agency,
Yeah.
can feed you the proactive information of like where to cut costs.
Yes.
Hey, we noticed that you should probably renegotiate your agreement with this vendor because you're overpaying on service fees, et cetera, et cetera. Like,
Yeah.
it could be a very powerful tool in that sense.
For sure. Yeah.
Do I see, like, I don't know. How do you feel? Like, do you think AI tools are going to cut off the designer? Is it going to cut off copywriting? Is it going to cut off the strategist or account management? Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's scary if it does.
I think eventually, I definitely think we're going that route,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like I do think that when it comes to AI at this stage, if it is to replace anyone, it's going to be like a super junior level kind of,
Mm-hmm.
person or team,
Right.
right? I'll give you another example. Like we do a lot of like development work, and in the coding space today, you got to go through your checks and balances, make sure the design is right, make sure it's prototyped, make sure that the dev team is aligned and knows kind of like the structure of how you want to execute on development, right? But I think there's tools out there right now, and I've tried them. We don't actively use them at this stage, but I've tried tools right now where you can build an entire MVP of a product,
Right.
or a SaaS, like software as a service, a website, et cetera, just by typing in like plain text,
Right.
like conversational text, like, hey, can you create me a website? I own a photography business and I just want 3 pages, home, portfolio, and contact.
Right.
And that's it, right? And it'll pump out the code for you. The one thing that it doesn't do well right now is connect all the dots,
Yeah.
right? And so what I mean by that is like, hosting it on a server and, taking photos from your library, like your photography portfolio, and putting it on the site. Like it can do it, but it requires additional, like,
You got to handhold it and make
you
those
gotta handhold
connections.
it. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think, like, to answer your question, going back full circle, right now, I think, yes, there are a bunch of companies out there considering, replacing their either department or their employee with AI. In some scenarios, it may even work, right? I think for us, because we are in such a creative environment, a demanding environment,
Yeah.
our clients will eat us alive. If we're sending them, AI driven kind of
Yeah.
vision.
Well, they can tell. I mean, if they're smart, they can tell, right?
Yeah, yeah. And again, like, in some scenarios, copywriting, for example,
Yeah.
again, you can get by with just like getting started with AI.
Yeah.
The creative side of AI right now is like you have to be a prompt engineer in order to really output something usable.
Yeah.
And the average person, right? Let's just talk public now, right? The average consumer is not a prompt engineer.
Bro, I'll say it right now. For people who think they're fucking sick with AI,
Yeah. You have
you're
no
not.
idea.
Like, you're not.
You have no
If
idea.
you think you're like lethal with AI
Yeah,
right now,
You're not.
and you're just sitting at home using GPT,
Yeah.
and you think you're a fucking whiz and you're gonna take over the world with AI, you don't know shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, Prompt engineering is a whole other thing that
Yeah.
you gotta actually learn and
Yeah.
dial in. Like, sure, some people may have it naturally,
Yeah.
and you know how to really
Yeah.
work AI.
Yeah.
Because right now AI is really working us. Let's be honest. But if you know how to work AI and have it sort of give you responses and do tasks beyond its A to B, B to C format, and you know how to actually prompt engineer, then it's a whole other thing. But most people, in my opinion, is like, bro, when you like, even for myself, like I'm on GPT all day and I think I'm sick, but I know fuck all because there's so much more to learn. Like I haven't really pushed it to its limits.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that, I mean, that goes for anything, right? Like
Yeah.
I think that being in the weeds and like doing this day in, day out, it's like you kind of gain this like traction, you know, like and this like style almost of like, you know, this is what I'm going to do first and this is what I'm going to do second, and then I'm going to output that, right? And it's just like that's cool, but there's like a million other ways to skin that cat.
Yeah.
You know, and like
And that's not even how it happens in real life. It's like when you're concepting, when you're ideating, when we're really getting creative.
Yeah.
Sure, there's some frameworks, methodologies you can kind of work with, marketing theories to like really hone in on a strategy. Sure, but like some of the greatest marketing ideas and tactics and campaigns aren't a linear process, right? Like we're getting inspiration from so many different places.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, an example of that is this recent event that we held, right?
Yeah.
And that was like, you know, full transparency. That was all your idea, and you know, but it was a huge success, right? Like a lot of people to this day, you know, almost over a month later, are still hitting us up and saying like, when's the next one? You know, when's the next one, and so on. And we're figuring that part out, but you know, let's talk about that for a second and just talk about like, first of all, AI would not have been able to not only execute, but it wouldn't have even be able to ideate on that level, right?
Right.
It wouldn't have made that connection. So let's pause for a second, maybe tell the people like what the event was and like how you came up with the idea and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So Chotomate, which is an international high-end Japanese Peruvian restaurant chain. They've got locations in Toronto, Qatar, San Francisco, Miami. They serve Japanese Peruvian food, which I believe is called Nikkei cuisine. Exceptional restaurant, and they're known for what they do, right? It's a beautiful venue, really kind of flary, sort of entertaining type of dining experience. They're one of our clients. They had reached out to us. Shout out to Madison from U of T from back in the day. She had reached out. She's like, Aziz, like we've got this patio. We've got spring and summer coming up. Can you guys do like a launch thing for us? Because our traditional audience, just where it's located in downtown Toronto, is in the financial district. So people that are generally going there, suit and tie, they're either there for a business lunch. Some people are going out there for date nights, special events, anniversaries, that type of a deal.
Yeah.
They wanted to really have a Sunday programming established where everyday people like you, myself, just people from Toronto streets are just coming out, having a good time for a more low-key experience, still built around food, beverage, dope music, good-looking people, all about fashion, all about Toronto culture, just having a good time, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly what we did. So as I was just kind of concepting and coming up with a strategy, I was like, okay, well, the concept has to be built around food and beverage. So let's start there. It has to be something that's really shareable to the point where people are, you know, as soon as they enter the space, they're taking their phones out, they're creating stories, being a part of the storytelling in a very organic way without us telling them what to do.
Yeah.
So I was just scrolling on Instagram, and obviously I'm in the trenches on Instagram. I'm on it like hours a day, and I have to be like, not because sure it's entertainment, but I need to know what's happening in the world around me. Either it's news, politics, sports, culture, fashion, music, whatever it is. I'm just a sponge for that, right? So I'm scrolling, and I'm like, well, Japanese, Peruvian, there's generally more seafood involved. And I just had this like moment where I'm like, yo, caviar.
Caviar. Yeah, I remember that.
So I was like, caviar. Like everyone not everyone, but a lot of girls are now just posting doing caviar bumps in a very casual setting.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about caviar too, and I was just like, first of all, I hadn't tried caviar.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what it was all about. It's also got like a stigma behind it too, right? It's
Yeah.
just like, you know, rich folk and like, you know,
It's a very high touch type
Yeah.
of thing you enjoy in a
Yes.
particular setting or environment. It's
Yeah.
not as accessible.
yeah,
Yeah, it's just not it was just like a higher upper echelon type of portion of your meal that you would have, or like a garnish
Exactly.
that's just kind of there.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, like caviar. But
yeah,
we wanted to have that sort of a paradox in our concept. So we're like, how do we take caviar that's obviously booming on a social cultural space, bring that down to a level where it's a little bit more accessible and create an experience around it? So I was messing around with that idea, and I was like, what can we call it? So we came up with a name called Bump.
Yeah.
So Bump became the concept because, I mean, caviar bumps, one, and it has obviously like the dual meaning, you know, doing bumps and all that kind of stuff. But bump
Yeah.
to the music, bump
Yeah.
up the experience,
Yeah.
bump up whatever you're eating and drinking. So we put that in front of Chotomate. Management loved it.
Yeah.
Month and a half later, we slammed that place. We
Yeah.
had DCR Milda come do a set. We had a lot of really dope people come out. We're working with 25 Hours, Warhol Studios.
Yeah.
Those guys all came out, brought out their people.
Sponsored by Moe.
Sponsored by Moe and Shandon.
Yeah.
Sharton Hobbs. I think Asahi was involved as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll put a link to the after video in the description so people
Yeah.
can see what it was like.
Yeah, that'd be great. I think, but overall, you know, I think the big thing here was that we did something that people just not only that they haven't experienced, but they weren't expecting. You
Yeah.
know, like I feel like we played it in such a like we did it intentionally, where we didn't tell people what to wear, we didn't tell people how to act, we didn't
Yeah.
tell people what to expect.
Yeah.
Right? We just said, this is what the event is. Show up, and like
Yeah.
just see what it's all about.
It
Right?
was just unstructured, like come as you are.
Yeah.
And it's funny, there's literally a sign at Chotomate, I think it says come as you are.
Yeah, 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 exactly. And I think like that's exactly what that event was. It wasn't suit and tie,
Yeah.
right? It wasn't the financial district people,
Yeah.
you know, the finance bros as they call them. It wasn't any of that, right?
Yeah.
It was like people there out to have a good time, you know, try the caviar, and I think like, you know, what Chotomate did a great job at was like kind of curating that like culinary experience, right?
Yeah.
So shout out to them for that. But, you know, again, I think that kind of taking it back now, like that kind of an event, that kind of execution,
Experience.
that kind of experience,
Yeah.
the vision,
AI is not doing that.
AI is not doing it, right?
Yeah.
AI is never, I mean, not, I don't want to say never, because who knows, right?
Yeah.
Where it's going to be 3 years from now. But AI wouldn't have been able to do that today.
100%.
Right, that's for sure. So, yeah, I think there's some ways to go. You know, when it comes to AI, I think that it's definitely getting better and better every single day. A lot faster than we're getting better and better. Let's
Yep.
be honest. But I still think that there's going to be a space for the visionary, right?
Agreed.
And the not only the visionary, but I also think there's going to be a space for the expert, right?
Yeah.
And I think like if I can say anything right now to the listeners that might be in a space where like they're feeling like, you know, AI is gonna take over my job or whatever, it's like if you can become an expert in AI, and I'm not saying coding it, I'm saying again like prompting, right? Just like talking to it, conversing, whatever,
Yeah.
conversing, whatever. I think like the piece here is that if you can learn to talk to AI, I feel like you'll be 10 steps ahead of
Yeah.
the general public.
And
you
bring
know?
that into your family. Bring that into your
Everything.
workspace. Like have something to offer.
Yeah.
So we talked about AI. We talked about why people generally hate marketers. We've got something cool set up for the next number of episodes.
Yes.
Where we're going to be unpacking some truths, right? Unpacking what moment in a entrepreneur or creator or founder's life they've had to sort of create a moment or have a breakthrough moment, and where they had to essentially make the audience believe in them and really just double down on that story. Really what I'm trying to say is everybody at some point in their life, whether it's for their personal brand or for the company or for the brand that they represent, they've had to create a story, right? Sometimes in the creation of that story, some things can get stretched.
Right.
Some facts and figures, or they've really had to tell a story and really had to double down on that story because that's what they've sold in. Right. So the next number of episodes, we're going to be focusing on that, right? What is that story that was finessed that the entrepreneur or the founder really had to double down on, and that they've really built a brand foundation on. So in the last few minutes, maybe we can kind of share just what was that for us, right? From like a personal brand standpoint. Like, again, we've started working together professionally and more formally in the last year. We've each got our own marketing and personal stories and our own personal brands as well. But we'd love to hear what was that moment for you, and then I can share mine.
Yeah, for sure. I think like there's so many that especially early on, right? Because like when you're fresh into your business or your entrepreneurial journey, maybe even your personal life, I think that there's so many different things that you aspire to do,
right?
But you don't have the opportunity to do because you don't have the client, or you don't have the cash flow, or you don't have the, you know what I mean? Like there's so many different things that can come up that you're just like, well, I know I can do this, right? And I know I can make it work, and I know I can do a kick-ass job at it, right? But I don't have X, whatever X is. So I think like a lot of times early on, you know, for me, it was like selling the, whatever it was that I was selling the package, selling the job, selling the, you know, experience, and then worrying about execution later, you know, because like as a early on, you know, one person, maybe two person shop, you know, it wasn't always feasible for me to be like, it's just me and one other person, but hey, I'm going to take your large scale project and deliver it on time, for example, right? But over time, you learn how to take the puzzle pieces and put them where they fit, right? And I think that that's something that that would be my story, you know, like early on. Even today, sometimes you've like, you know, we're going up against some big agencies, you know, and sometimes you have to play the part, right? You have to wear the shoes. You have to dress like you want to be. What's that saying? You know what I'm talking about?
It's like dress who you want to be, or
dress who
like
you want to be, not who you are, or whatever it is. But like it's all of that, right? And I think that, I mean, in recent years, like, you know, we're more casual and whatever, but there used to be a point as recent as like 5-6 years ago where every day I was suit and tie, you know, because that's what people wanted, right? That like when you got CEO,
they had a image of what a boss man or a businessman kind of looks like.
100%. And I think that that's something that now we've kind of changed, obviously, but I think there's so many of those like little, I wouldn't even call them like lies, you know, like it's just like opportunities, you know, they're opportunities.
Definitely. I agree. Every brand, every person out there, it's some degree, like whether it's for your personal career or trying to create an image for a certain client that you want, or to close a deal, everybody puts on some level of a show, right? To have that initial interaction. And that's just going to happen naturally. Like, you know, in the natural world, sure, if you want to call it peacocking, right? In our human sort of world, we call it trying to make an impression, right? People do judge a book by its cover. Sometimes certain things might stand out to individuals just to open up that line of communication. It can help, right? For me, I think it was when I was out in Dubai. So I was there for about I can't even remember. Like I went out there for 2 trips. First trip was for a few months. Second time was there for about a year. So both times that I went, obviously we're talking Dubai here, bro. You meet the craziest people.
Yeah, exactly.
You meet the craziest people, but you also meet a lot of people that I don't want to call them fake, but maybe they've kind of finessed their stories. Or the saying is, I think it's the saying like you're either running from something or hiding from something, and you end up in Dubai or whatever.
Yeah.
But all in all, Dubai is an incredible and amazing place, and I met a lot of game-changing, industry-moving people out there. But me, when I first landed, I'm just a kid from Toronto. Like, sure, I had my own personal brand. I was involved with entertainment, marketing in my earlier career. But being surrounded by musicians, artists, celebrities, these big brands, and I introduced myself as, you know, someone from Toronto, Canada, you know, people get excited and whatnot, but when you're around so much success or what you perceive to be success, you also create kind of this expectation of, oh, well, I kind of have to sort of inflate what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like, bro, I'm sure you've experienced this. Like if you're traveling, you're at a resort and you're like, I'm from Toronto. People are like, if you meet another person from Toronto or somebody meets somebody from Toronto, they're always like, yeah, you know, I know Drake. But no, motherfucker, you don't know Drake. You're probably like Drake. 8, 9, 10 people, 6 degrees of separation away from him. And that's probably even a stretch still. But it's like everybody just says something to have that initial conversation or to create a story, etc. So I think me being out in Dubai, like obviously has propelled and fast-tracked my career a lot in the agency world. But I think in my younger days when I was out there, sure, I've had to stretch some conversations. Like we're literally in Armin van Buren's booth one night. Shout out to Shaz and Chris back in the day when we did our full circle stuff. We were hanging out in Armin van Buren's booth at one of his parties. We met a lot of people. Like, I don't know, they're like entertainment people. There's industry people out there. You know, I would tell people, oh yeah, you know, we work with Armin. Like, stuff like that. You know what I mean? But it's like, those are people who I still have their contacts till today because they know, okay, Aziz can get other marketing stuff done. Right. But it's just that initial conversation where it's like, it's just that conversation starter. Right.
Yeah. And I think it's an opener, right? It's an opener for a lot of people. And I think that, like I said, for a lot of individuals, a lot of entrepreneurs I know, right? All they need to do to prove their worth or their value is get a foot in the door, right?
Foot in the door and deliver, bro.
And deliver. But that's what I'm saying. Like the foot in the door is that opportunity, right? Of like, whatever you want to call it, that fake it till you make it moment, right?
Right.
And then when they deliver excellence, right? It's like, that's your guy now, right? Now you become that guy. And it's like, you're no longer in this like mindset of like, oh, like I know I could do it, but I can't get the client or whatever, because you've done it now, right? And you just build off of that hype. So yeah, I think like I don't think there's a single business owner out there that hasn't had this happen for them, right? And I think it's just like a natural way that, you know, we know what we're capable of, right, as humans, and I think some of us know how to play into it, right? And I think that's kind of like what it is. But yeah, I think, you know, one thing I'll leave you with here is just like, when it comes to marketing, culture, you know, vision, being a visionary, all of that kind of stuff, fashion, music, you know, personally, I naturally think of like, obviously certain artists, certain people, certain whatever, but like, I think like that's an amazing thing that you bring to prospect on your end, you know, like, you're really tapped in where over the years, I've personally been like more in the weeds, you know, doing dev work or
you're more on like the web digital side of the business.
Yeah. And so like, you know, on the culture side, on the brand side, on the experiential side, you know, maybe talk a little bit about that. Before we close off here.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. Like I mean, first off, people are setting high expectations for the brands that they interact with, the places they go. it's a given now. Like if you want to earn if you want to earn your customer's dollar, you have to provide them with so much more. Like if someone's coming into your restaurant, sure, they're coming for the food, but what is that experience like from the moment they call your restaurant or search you up online or make a reservation?
Yeah.
What is there a white glove servicing that happens? Is there some sort of a little takeaway thing that is a surprise and delight at the end, right? Like these are all experiential elements that people remember. So for me, it's like, I just try to be like, I studied in social sciences back in university. I just love learning about people and how people learn.
Yeah.
Right? How they're absorbing information, how they recall certain brands and experiences, all the different senses, anthropology, like all these things I'm just noticing. It's probably not good for my health because I'm just like hyper vigilant, bro. I'm just always aware of so much shit that's happening around me.
Yeah.
But that helps me figure out how to get a positive reaction from people. And that's the type of cultural science that I'm bringing into Prospect for the brands that we work with. So no matter it's a digital experience, an influencer campaign, a product drop, an experiential moment, I'm bringing that level of cultural know-how. What's going to crack, what's happening on the streets, what's going to make sense from a business standpoint, what's going to make sense from a creative standpoint, and making sure that it brings positive ROI for our clients. But also as an agency, we're obviously making money too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and I think like a big piece of everything that you just said there is like psychology, right? Just human psychology. Right. And I think that people don't realize like how big of a part it plays in everything that it is that we do, right? At Prospect and just in general marketing, right? Like everything's about like, why are certain colors on a website? You know, why are certain buttons on a website the color that they are? Psychology.
Yeah.
Right. So like, anyway, I think like overall, you know, there's so many different things that come to mind when I think marketing today, right? The average person doesn't even realize, you know, that they're being marketed to or advertised 100%. To or whatever, you know, and I think like it's insane. But, you know, on that note, we have to wrap this up today.
Yes.
So, you know, hope everyone enjoyed.
Yeah, we hope everybody enjoyed. Like I mentioned, the next number of episodes are going to be stories that we unpack where the founder made you believe. So there's going to be some really cool stories. We're excited to bring some guests in, share more of our personal stories, hear more from them. Yeah. We also encourage anybody to reach out to us if you want to be a guest speaker or a guest co-host on our podcast at the marketing department. So reach out to us. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, whether you're listening on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, just give us a like and we'll be sure to show some love back.
Yeah. We'll catch you on the next one.
Catch you in the next one. Take care, guys.
Peace.
Okay.